Welcome back, ladies and gents, to Bingo Blitz and to our first club, Brighton. We are, of course, heading into the back end of the season after losing to Manchester City at the Etihad, which wasn't quite so empty. As you can see, there was 51,453 people who actually attended that game. But how have we been getting on since then? Well, those who are looking at the top of the screen can see pretty much how we've been getting on, but specifically our first game was Tottenham Hotspur, and as you can see, it was a 1-1 draw. This started off through Shane Duffy. Unfortunately, though, he scored in the complete wrong net. We did manage to get a late equaliser through Licadia, but in the end, that was the only goal we got, and as you can see, a few different players were struggling in that one, but Licadia, Sarr, a couple of others such as Michael Bradley did stand out, as well as Cusarella and Lamptey, who still had a bit of a knock. Then, the very next game was against Everton, where we unfortunately did lose. Now, Licadia, he managed to carry his form into that one, as you can see. Calvert-Lewis, though, managed to get himself 2 goals, and then a consolation goal by Licadia. Yeah, we've just not been performing, to be honest. As you can see here above, we just haven't performed all season. A lot of draws, back-to-back losses over here against Man U and Liverpool is fine. Leicester, that's okay. Wolves, who we're about to play, we lost 3-0 to them at home last time, so keep that one in mind as we're going to today's game as well. But we did manage to pick up a victory and another draw. So, first of all, the Hull City game, they scored an own goal on the very first minute. It was a beautiful finish, to be honest. Slid into the ball, pushed it past his goalkeeper. Not quite sure what he was thinking. Gonzalo Higuain then got us a second, and they pulled one back on the 29th, but just couldn't get themselves back in the game. Then we have the Aston Villa game. Now, as you can see, that was at home and ended up 1-1. First of all, we scored on the 79th. Took us a while. Honestly, Higuain had a lot of opportunities in this game. A few got disallowed because he was offside, but they managed to steal a draw. So Leon Bailey, he scored a header from a free kick. We did appeal for offside. It went to VAR and then eventually it was granted. And yeah, rather disappointing way to finish that game. We probably should have gone away with all 3 points, but we now find ourselves 12th in the Premier League, and it does make today's game just a little bit more spicy, because as you can see, Wolverhampton Wanderers is just below us, 12 draws, most in the league. Okay, that's a lot of draws. So, we are nicely down in 12th position. We can work our way up there with a couple of wins. We can hop over Newcastle and Chelsea. Chelsea down in 11th, by the way. Not quite as bad as Tottenham down in 17th, battling relegation, just saying. But, yeah, our next opponent, Wolverhampton Wanderers, are only a point behind us. They can leapfrog us if they beat us. Both of us, of course, do have games in hand over Chelsea and Newcastle, 2 over Villa, and yeah, we've got these games in hand, so let's see if we can utilise today's game in hand. But speaking of bad news, there is yet more over in the medical centre. But I hear you ask, who is injured over in the medical centre, or at least who was injured over in the medical centre? Well, first of all is Enoch Mwempu. He, of course, picked up that bruise against Manchester City. Not quite sure if I went over this one, but that was for 5 days. On top of that, Webster then went and caught the flu. He somehow caught that in training, sent him home so he didn't infect anyone else. 12 days out for that. The big one, though, is Sherpen. Sherpen picked up a major injury, a fractured lower leg in training. Sent him out to a specialist, 7 weeks to 10 weeks for him to recover from that one. Thankfully, he's not our starting goalkeeper, nor is he our second or third. He's probably our 4th choice. Lamptey, though, then went and picked up a pulled hamstring against Tottenham, so that's keeping him out for 2 weeks. Modder then got a bruised shin for 2 days, and Licadia, he picked up a tight calf. Wanted to say 5 for some reason, tight calf for 2 days also. But it's not all bad news around here, no. In fact, we've been dealing with the transfer window, and that means we have 5 brand new additions coming to Brighton. Okay, so we're going to start from cheapest to most expensive. And, well, the first one is Josip Stanisic. Josip Stanisic is a 21-year-old Croatian with 2 under-21 caps. And we picked him up for only 2 million. Now, if you have a little look at that valuation, he's actually valued 7.4 to 8.4. So he's coming in rather cheap. £32.5 per week is quite a bit though for a squad player, but as you can see, he has a lot of versatility. He's going to be a backup, sit on our bench, maybe strengthen that bench, perhaps even be a reserve player. I thought of bringing him in more as a cover for Duffy, who of course wanted to go out on loan due to his developmental concerns, but he is still here. Didn't find a home for him, so now we've got a nice youngster coming in for the future of Brighton. This, of course, is what the board wanted. Young players they can develop and sell on for more. Well, we didn't need to develop him to sell him on for more, because like I said, he's valued at 7.4 to 8.4, way more than the 2 million we paid for him. 2.5 star, 2.5 star, possibly 3.5 star potential as well. But where on earth did he come from? Well, he comes from Germany. More specifically, he's come from FC Bayern. Well, at least their second team. Well, last season he played 4 games and got a 7.25. Prior to that, he was in their first team, got 1 appearance. And prior to that, he was in the B team for a couple of seasons. And then before that was also in Bayern's main team for 3 seasons, originally from 1860 Munich, before going to Fürstenwalde and then FC Bayern. But who else have we acquired? Next up is an even more promising youngster and an even bigger bargain picked up for only 4 million. Yes, 4 million. Morten Frendrup is a player who Manchester United was in fact interested in getting. And as you can see, 22 million to 29 million. It's quite the bargain. 20 years of age, this Danish international has played 2 under-21 caps. He's currently in at 21.5 grand per week. He's a squad player, 3-star, 4-star, possibly 5-star potential. He's a ball-winning midfielder, but he can also play as a playmaker, as he has that passing and vision ability. If we have a little look at that, we'll just slide it down here for a second. He's got 13 on pretty much most of his stats. 11 to 13 is his range. He's got a 14 on his teamwork. He's just a solid all-round player, especially mentally. The only thing mentally he struggles with is a bit of flair down at 6. The rest is all in the yellows. Same with his physicals, only jumping reach down at 10. And technically, he's pretty darn gifted as well. I would say long throws is the only thing he cannot do. He doesn't have any player traits, but he has a free rating on that goalkeeper if somehow he's needed. But where did we get him from? Well, he is from Brøndby. He's been there for his entire career. He's played quite a few games as well. 15 games last season, but the season before 31 and 26 prior to that. Got 3 assists last year and a 7.07. Next up is a little bit more strengthening of our wings. Picked up for only 4.3 million. Christian Pavone is more of a left-hand sided midfielder according to this game. That is, of course, for an inverted winger or an inside forward. He's nice cover for that. He can even be cover up front, but we are going to be using him more as a winger because he's got that preferred foot on the right, and thus we're going to use him more on that right-hand side. So, a solid addition. 26 years of age. This Argentine has 14 full caps as well as 2 under-20s caps. And in those 2 under-20s caps, he's scored 4 goals. Yes, 4 goals in 2 under-20 caps. And just to add to the bargain, his valuation is now 27 to 32 million. Admittedly, we're paying 95 grand per week and he is a regular starter. He has quite a few player traits. I'm not going to read through all of them, but there you go. I'll scroll down them for you. Plenty of pace. This guy's going to be bombing it down the wing. But where did we pick him up from? Oh, by the way, 4-star, 4-star potential. So not a whole lot to grow, but definitely going to strengthen our side. Now, he comes in from Boca Juniors, where he's got 11 goals. Yes, 11 in 18. 2 assists, 2 player of the matches, and a 7.23. Prior to that, spent a couple of years out on loan to LA Galaxy, where, of course, he was at Boca Juniors. Prior to that, Colon. Before that, Boca Juniors. Prior to that, he went out on loan. Boca Juniors originally picked him up for 1 million from Torres. Our second most expensive signing is that of Ross Barkley, picked up for $5.5 million. As you can see, he's not valued a whole lot more, 5.8 to 7.2. It is, of course, an improvement on what we paid, but he's a three-star potential, solid central midfielder. He can, of course, move up to central attacking mid. He can even play on the wings at a push, but we wanted more as a playmaker, a bit more depth. In case Fabregas picks up a knock, we have Lallana. Both of those are a little bit older though, so fitness-wise, they're not going to be able to get back as much. He's got decent acceleration at 15. He's got a nice bit of natural fitness at 12, 14 on his pace, and some stamina on 12 as well. So he's going to be able to run up and down the pitch without too much issue, unlike the prior two names mentioned. But 33 caps for England, 6 goals, 521 caps and 1 goal in those. He is, of course, from Chelsea. Prior to that, he was on loan at Aston Villa. 11 million. 11 million to loan him. That's awful. Awful bit of business from their part. But Chelsea, been there for quite a while, of course, acquired from Everton for 15 million, where he was for a while. In fact, he started off at Everton before going out on loan. Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds, returning to Everton, playing for them in the Premier League for a while, then going to Chelsea, and now coming to us. The final and most expensive signing we made was for 8 million. Yes, 8 million is valued at 20 to 22 million, but it does make him the most expensive Japanese player to be bought, and that, of course, is Minamino. 27 years of age, he's got 33 caps for Japan and 16 goals. He can play all the way across central midfield, all the way across the wings, and even up front. 3-star, 3.5-star potential. He has quite a few traits. Plays 1-2s, likes to beat opponents repeatedly, runs with the ball often, because of course he has plenty of pace. A solid addition to our side. Admittedly, we are paying him 80 grand a week, and he is expected to be a regular starter, but he's going to be an inside forward on that left-hand side. And, well, he comes, of course, from Liverpool, where last season he played 5 games. Sorry, this season he played 5 games. Got a 6.66. Interesting average rating there. Prior to that, he was out on loan to Southampton, of course, scoring 2 goals in 10, 1 in 9 for Liverpool the season prior, and he was acquired from Salzburg prior to that for 7.25. They, in fact, picked him up for only 575 grand, making themselves a nice little bit of cash as well from Sakai FC. But it is, of course, time to crack on with today's game. So we've made our way here to the dressing room, and our team for today is Sanchez in goal, a backline of Cusarella, Webster, Dunk and Lamperty. Central midfield will be controlled by Bradley and Barkley. On the left-hand side is Minamino, Pavone on the right, McAllister in between because he's been nagging for some game time. Normally it would be Stanisic, but McAllister, if you want to play, I'm going to give you the opportunity, and if you suck, like you have been doing recently, well, then you just won't get back into the lineup. Up front is Higuain, a bench consisting of Karius Sarr, Stanisic, I'm going to struggle with his name, I know it for sure, Ben, Fabregas, Fred Rupp, Trossard, Stanisic, and Diego Farias. But enough rambling from me, let's crack on with this. Right, ladies and gents, the team sheet is out here at Molineux, and, well, it looks like they are going to be Willyless here today, but they do, of course, have Neto and Dendoika. So, let's crack on with this, let's head to the dressing room, and we've got nothing to lose here. We know how good we are, let's show everyone else what we are capable of. Punch fist, let's give a little bit of motivation. Only motivated Higuain, Minamino, and Sanchez. That's a little bit disappointing. As you can see, quite the packed crowd here today. They are going for a 5-2-2-1. 3 losses and 2 wins recently. We, of course, have a loss, a draw, a loss, a win, and a draw as our recent results. 4-2-3-1, of course, is our formation. Now we are down in 13th place. Sorry, they are down in 13th place, just sitting behind us. Went over that near the start of the episode. I don't know how I'm already messing things up, but enough of that. Let's crack on with this. So, Bradley, He's going to play it down to Minamino here on the kick-off. Highlights now, of course, probably not going to amount to much as Michael Bradley just kicks it straight out of play, trying to pass it to Cusarella. So, West Ham, by the way, 1-1 against Manchester United. Admittedly, that game is quite deep. That's 89th minute equaliser. Aston Villa 3-2 up against Leeds United. Brentford 6-1 away to Crystal Palace. They are having fun. Crystal Palace, not so much. Everton 3-0 up against Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea's rough season is continuing. Manchester City 3-0 up against Leicester. Liverpool 5-0 up against Newcastle. A couple of own goals in there. Hayden and Longstaff, I believe that was. Sanchez is going to go short to Dunk in this one though. Goes over to Webster. He tries to hoof it up and it's going to be intercepted. Now Dendoika is going to play it over. It's with Sayes. Sayes is going to get to Kilman. Kilman is going to try a ball over the top. Trying to come down this left hand side. Maybe get a tackle in. No, it's a ball through to Raul. Thankfully, Jimenez has gone wide of the goal. We have averted danger for the moment. But, come on, show me the other games. I would like to see the other games below if you would be so kind, game. But right now, it's with Semedo. Semedo coming down this right-hand side. Maybe get a tackle in, my friend. No, he's pulled it back for Neto. Neto whips it in back post. Free header, thankfully. Sanchez will collect. Oh, we are giving them way too much space. Lamperty and Cusarella, I expect better than a 6-6 and a 6-5 out of you two. Higuain, though, tries the ball over the top, gets it over to Pavone. Pavone on this right-hand side. What can he do here, though? He does have a little bit of spot, whips it back. Oh, Bradley up to McAllister. It's blocked. It's back out to Pavone. What can the new signing do? Pulls it back for Bradley. It's now over to Lamptey. Lamptey now back to Bradley. It's a 1-2 between them two. Yet again, Lamptey tries to come down this right-hand side. He does eventually make a little bit of space. He's over at the corner flag. Whips it in. It's nodded away. Bradley will collect this, though. The pressure is still on. Plays it up to Barkley. He finds Lamptey. Is he offside? Yeah, he's offside. I thought that was going to get called, and it did. Also, if you heard a bit of background noise just a minute ago, I apologise for that. If not, then I just look crazy. That's right now. Yeah, 0-0 here in this game. That's rather disappointing. 40% possession to their 60. We need to do a little bit more. We just need to do a little bit more. Cusarella on a 6-5 right now. 6-4 for Minamino. You need to do better, my friend. And Higuain, that 6-6 is not looking good either. You know what? Passionately, we owe Wolves after what happened last time. Go out there, get revenge. Break legs, win games. Let's do this. Come on. Let's crack on with this. Also, rather windy outside. I apologise for that as well. You're probably going to pick up on that one. But Ruben Neves is going to play it inside, of course. Just another kick-off highlight here. Kilman gets it over to his left-hand side. Triangles in the middle of the pitch. And can we win possession? No, it's with Sace. He's going to go over to Dendoika. Dendoika, where's he going to go, though? That is the question. He is going to go up to Neto. He finds Ruben Neves, ball over the top. Now, we do have a little bit more of the good news, bad news. Good news, on the problem front of wanting to go out on loan, both of the players, I can't remember who the other one other than Duffy was, but basically anyone who had a promise that didn't get fulfilled, they're all happy to extend it. Doesn't really matter to us because we're not, of course, sticking around, but they're not disturbing the team's morale in that sense. A little bit of the bad news, though. Yeah, we got Manchester United in the cup, just like in the other save. So, yeah, not going to have a fun time in the FA Cup, I believe it was. So, yeah, second in the league right now. Manchester United is our opponents for that one. Right now, though, we're into the 63rd minute. No, I should probably look at making some substitutes. Right now, though, Dendoika gets it up to Ruben Neves. Now back to Dendoika, tries the ball over the top. He's going to find Semedo. Semedo on this right-hand side will get... He turns, passes up. Raul, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Sanchez, lovely save. Dunk, what are you doing? Dunk and Webster... You both scared me. Donk, I thought he was going to give them a goal, and Webster, I thought he was going to give them a penalty. Both of which would have been rather dangerous. So let's get our Japanese. Oh, another good bit of news, by the way. Minamino, although he's not playing particularly good here today, has raised our marketing. Our marketing in Japan gone through the roof. Shirt sales going crazy as we got our Japanese star. But right now, Trossard can go out on that wing because he is not performing as he should be. Cucurella at left back. Do we take him off? We have plenty of other players in positions that need to make a difference, so maybe we don't go for him quite yet. Ross Barkley, for instance, is a 6'5" and he is our playmaker, so he's going off. We're going to bring on Fabregas, and 66th minute. You know what? We'll hold on with a third one for now. We will make it eventually. Also, Sanchez, better free kick taker than Karius, so that's going to be useful if we do get in a position to actually take some free kicks, because of course our rule for this back end of the season is our goalkeeper will be taking our free kicks. Ruben Neves though over to Semedo. Semedo on this right hand side pulls it inside. It's now Trincao back to Semedo. Ruben Neves, lovely tackle by Bradley. McAllister's going to go on the counter attack. Oh, big touch there with Semedo, just steals the ball back. McAllister, my friend, gotta do better than that. That was poor. You want to be in this starting lineup? Show me why. Don't be making terrible touches like that. Dunk though, nods it on to Pavone. It's now with Fabregas. He finds Higuain. Higuain pulls it back for Fabregas. Now up to McAllister. McAllister does have support. He plays it through to Pavone. Pavone's got a little bit of space. Oh, he's going to shoot from range. Unfortunately though, nowhere near the goal. That is not the clinical finishing we was expecting when we brought you in from Boca Juniors. Now, the question is, who is our most tired players? We've got Pavone, McAllister and Lamptey. Now, Pavone is probably the one we should really replace, although McAllister is in a position to do something useful. You know what? Stanisic is going to come in. He's going to slide in that middle, and we are going to confirm the change and pray we can break this deadlock, as we are currently 0-0 here at Molineux. Now it's the ball over to Hee-chan, but Lamptey will beat him to it. Pulls it back for Sanchez, who's going to hoof it upfield. Now it's just straight back to their defense as it's played up to Ruben Neves. Now Molineux is going to run through our midfield. Ball over to Trincao. He's going to pull it back. Raul Jimenez, lovely block by Webster though, over to Cucurella, and he's going to clear it away. But thankfully, the highlight ended as we played it out to Den Doika on the halfway line. So, you know what, lads, last 10 minutes, I am going to demand more from you. This has been rather poor. I want a little bit more. Didn't go down great. Couple of players, Webster, Higuain, not particularly happy with that. The rest of the team took it on the chin. Those two, a little bit soft, you know. Cannot take that extra push. But how are the other games getting on? Oh, we got a little flash there of some other games. I think we're only going to be allowed to see those ones for now, though. So Lamptey throws it into Fabregas. He finds Pavone. Pavone pulls it back for Lamptey. Lamptey now coming down this right-hand side. Ball up to Pavone, but ladies and gents, it is all over as we have a ball draw here at Molineux. Our best performer was Lamptey on a 7-6, followed by Sanchez on a 7-4 and Dunk on a 7-3. We didn't play particularly bad. We just didn't really create anything. Trossard, Higuain and Fabregas, as well as Minamino particularly, and McAllister and Barkley all struggled. But the rest of the team just, they were solid. We were solid. We just didn't really do a whole lot up front. 8 shots to their 11, 4 on target apiece. Yeah, I think the score reflects the game. So, I thank you all for joining us. Next up is... I've written this one down. Next up is... Oh, yes. It is, in fact, Chelsea, as Tuchel and the troops will be our next opponents. Well, I say that. Is Thomas Tuchel still going to be in a job by the time we get to Chelsea? Who knows? Let's figure that one out in the next one. But I thank you all for joining us. I hope you all have a lovely night, and goodbye.